If you have lower back pain, then abdominal strengthening is incredibly important. When you're moving, the way that you use your trunk muscles or abdominal muscles in real life is to help stabilize your spine while you're moving other things. And so in this video, I'm going to show you 7 exercises to help strengthen your abdominals while you're moving other things to help you with the way that your abdominals function in everyday life. So let's get started. The first exercise is more of just an isometric exercise. And this is more like a plank type exercise where you're not moving anything. But this is really important because all the other exercises that follow after this are going to be based on this exercise. Now, if you've ever been in physical therapy, you've probably learned a pelvic tilt exercise. And that's the first one, is just learning how to tilt your pelvis and flatten your lower back out. Now, ideally, you want to do this on a floor. You can use a yoga mat if you need to for comfort. But if you can't get on the floor, doing it on a bed is also an acceptable option. But ideally, having something firm like a floor is your best option. So start out by pulling your belly button in towards your spine so that you flatten your lower back out. You should feel your muscles kind of on the side of your trunk engage. You don't want to do this just by pushing through your heels and tilting back like that. You should be drawing in with your tummy and kind of pressing your lower back flat into the ground. And you should feel your abdominal muscles kind of kick on right here. That uses the deeper set of trunk muscles on the side of your trunk called your obliques. Now, once you've held that for about 10 seconds or so, let it go, and you should be able to feel like your back arches back up off the ground. Try tilting again and holding that position with your back flat for 10 seconds, and then let it go again. And when you can repeat that and do that 10 times, holding it for 10 seconds where you keep your back pressed flat against the ground and you don't let it go, now you're ready to start moving on to the other exercises. And again, this is an isometric exercise, but it's really important because you need to be able to hold that contraction while you're doing all of the other things that progress off of that. So the next exercise is to start out with that pelvic tilt or abdominal bracing exercise. Get your lower back flat on the ground and then just lift one leg up off the ground. Now, there are a few things you need to keep in mind while you're doing this. You need to keep the lower back flat. You also want to use your fingers on your pelvic bones to make sure you don't rotate from side to side. So do the pelvic tilt, flatten your lower back, lift one leg, and the hip bones here should stay relatively still. Go up to about 90 degrees, and then come back down. Then repeat with the alternate leg. Come up, and then come back down. Now the coming up is actually fairly easy. It's really more the lowering down that's a little bit harder. Because as you're coming up, you're actually going in the direction of flattening your lower back out. When you're coming back down, your hips going that way, but you're trying to tilt your pelvis back this way. So it's really the lowering that's the harder part of this exercise. And when you can do 10 of these with each leg, again, keeping your pelvis still and keeping your lower back flat on the ground, you're ready to progress to the next step, which is doing one leg, holding that there, then lifting the other leg at the same time without letting your pelvis rock back. And what you'll feel when you first start to lift this second leg is you'll feel like your back wants to arch off the ground like that, because you now have no contact point here to hold you in place. So do the tilt, make sure you get your pelvis in tight, hold that ab contraction, and then lift the other one, come back down, lift up, lower the other one, come back up, lower the other one, come back up, lower the other one, come back up, and alternate back and forth. Now, when you can do 10 of these with each leg, Then you're ready to move on to the next step. Now I mentioned the lowering is the harder part because you're going in this direction with your pelvis and that direction with your leg. So the next exercise is going opposite directions with your pelvic tilt and your leg. So start out by doing a pelvic tilt and then bringing both knees up to a 90-degree angle while keeping your lower back flat. This is your starting position. From here, you're going to slowly lower one leg down to the floor or as close as you can get without allowing your lower back to arch and without allowing your pelvis to rotate to one side or the other. So again, pelvic tilt, get your lower back flat, lift the legs, and then do one leg, and then the other, and one leg, and then the other, and alternate back and forth and work up to doing 10 repetitions on each leg. Now, when you can do 10 repetitions on each leg, then you're ready to move on to the next exercise. Now, this next step is going to be lifting both legs at the same time. So sort of like the first two exercises, now you're going to lower both legs at the same time. And you want to make sure to keep your lower back flat as you're doing this. So keep the lower back flat, come down, really engage your tummy muscles, come up, come back down. And remember, you shouldn't be arching up like that. So keep your stomach muscles engaged, come back down, and then come back up, and then come down, and then come back up. And when you can do 10 of those, then you're ready to progress on to the next exercise. This one is going to be a leg lowering exercise, now with your legs straight. Now, when you test or grade your lower abdominal strength, this is actually the test that's used to grade how strong your abdominals are, as to how far down towards the floor you can get. Getting down all the way flat like that with your lower back flat is the ideal, but that's really pretty hard to do. Even people without back pain, a lot of people have trouble doing that. So don't worry if you can't get all the way down. Do the tilt, get your lower back flat, go down as far as you're able to, and then come back up. And then go down as far as you're able to, and then come back up. And then go down as far as you're able to, and come back up. And over time, you should be able to get lower and lower. But that's not going to happen overnight. Again, that's a fairly difficult exercise. Now, if you can do 10 repetitions of lowering all the way down to the floor, and then coming back up without your lower back arching, you're really in pretty good shape as far as your abdominals are concerned. Now, there's one other exercise that really isn't a progression off of these. It's a totally different movement pattern, but it is important to include because it involves the motion of rotation. When you're doing the one leg marching like this, you do have to control side to side rotation some, but for this last exercise, we're going to do a pure rotation with the leg and then come back up. Pure rotation with the leg and come back up. What you don't want to happen is your pelvis to follow. So if you've got stiff inner thigh muscles or weak rotational muscles in your trunk, you may notice that your pelvis kind of follows or that you feel this kind of kick up into your finger as you're lowering the leg down. Lower down, come back up. It may help actually to have this opposite leg straight so that you can't cheat by counterbalancing yourself. And lower down, come back up. Again, these hip bones should stay pretty close to perfectly still as you're doing this And so if you have one leg down, you're going to do all your repetitions on one side and then repeat and do all the repetitions on the other side. And that exercise is fairly easier than some of the more advanced exercises, but it's a totally different movement pattern. So those were the 7 abdominal strengthening exercises for lower back pain. Now you may have noticed a few things about all of those. 1, they were all laying down on the floor, and 2, they only worked on the abdominals. And your core involves much more than just your abdominal muscles. So if you would like to learn more exercises to work your entire core, I've got another video about 7 core strengthening exercises that are even better than these ones that I just showed you. Furthermore, at some point you've got to get up off the floor. And so check out my other video on how to upgrade your lower back home exercise program. But before you go watch those other videos, if you did find this video helpful, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to our channel so you can get notified of our future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.